Tell me something special. Tell me something about football. Tell me something about football World Cup.
I have a little knowledge about football, but though I used to play lots of games, I used to have Nokia Lumia, so they used to give us some games, right, in the mobile phone, football games. So I used to play, but I wasn't good at it. That game was, too much heavy game. I mean, it's like, around like 2 GB or 1 GB, something like that. Very old time, okay? So I used to play that game, and yeah, this is how kind of I got interested in football. But to be honest with you, nowadays I'm not interested in any sports.
You're not interested in any sports right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because our life is playing with us. That's why you don't like any sports.
I don't like sports because of see, even though I used to play cricket, but still nowadays I'm not that much kind of gravitate gravitate toward watching cricket or football or even playing them. No, I don't like them.
Hmm. After a certain point of time, especially when you realize that you have your family responsibility, and especially it's not about the family responsibility even. After you reach a certain phase of your life, and you feel like sports are not that much important for you. Okay, doing physical exercise is still okay, going for running or doing meditation, but sports is something that requires a proper like teamwork,
Hmm.
a lot of people coming together, and especially when you become 26, 27, so you do not feel like playing with the young kids who are only 16 and 17. On the other hand, your age people, many of them get married, many of them go to another location, many of them start their business, they go for job. So there is a very kind of awkward kind of a situation, because when I was in my village, I used to feel exactly the same. The players were very young. One of my friends went to another location. Another friend, actually, he got married,
Hmm.
and after marriage, you know what normally happens to a boy? He doesn't get that much time to just get along with the old friends. And people are also losing interest from sports, especially in our West Bengal, like cricket, football, whatever you can say. Around 10 years ago, football was a very charming game for us. Football was a game of passion for the Bengali people. But these days, when I go back to my village, I do not see even 10 young kids playing in our like football.
Okay.
Only two to three, and they have their own balls. They have their own football, bro. And earlier we used to collect money to buy a football, 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 10 rupees.
Okay.
Situation got changed a lot.
And according to which country is more crazy about football? Is it could be like Brazil or USA or I don't know which country is more crazy about football.
When it comes to football, so definitely, I mean, Brazil. In Brazil, people do not play for money only. I mean, football is a part and parcel of their life. I mean, they play for joy. They play for like happiness. So
Okay.
that's why the Brazilian players are very skillful. They are a lot more energetic. They have more flexibility. Because
Mhm.
from, for example, 2 to 3 years, if somebody is playing football, so at the age of 20, so how many different kind of skills? What will be the level of agility and the endurance, in that particular boy or girl? So that's why there is no comparison of Brazil along with like most of the other like sports loving countries.
Mhm.
But day by day, the Brazilian people are also losing their interest from football for money only. The Brazilian players are basically playing football only for money. They are going for clubs, they are going for leagues. They are not playing well in the national team, right? But winning a trophy with the national team is a kind of a dream for many of the national players,
Mhm.
which Brazil is not able to achieve for the past like 15, 20 years. I don't know actually what's wrong with them. But the French players are actually playing well now. France. France team is actually playing really well. They are producing a lot of young talents, goal scorers, defenders. Oh,
Okay. And what do you think? How long does it take to get popularity of this football? Okay, in India, because in India, cricket is kind of people worship this sport. Wherever you can go, you're going to see people playing cricket. They are very good at playing cricket. So when it comes to cricket, It is very, 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 very popular in India. So how long does it take to get that kind of, fame to football in India?
Generally, I would say if if you want exactly the same level of passion and craze, amongst all the people about football in India, so that will perhaps not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why I'm saying, because I mean, why I'm saying perhaps, because it might happen. Okay, if the government takes the necessary steps, and especially if I talk about the infrastructure and the amount of money that is invested in cricket and the amount of money that is invested in football, so there is a huge gap, huge gap. Okay, and especially for example, if you're working for a company and the company is paying only 10,000 rupees. On the other hand, if I go to another company, they will pay me 1 lakh rupees. So what will you do? Quite naturally your craze will go for cricket. I mean, compared to football, Indian footballer gets maximum 70, 80,000 per month for the national players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So quite naturally, for 70, 80,000, who will play for a national team, right? So they should definitely go for, like, this is something that has been a matter of concern, and many people have already highlighted, especially the football loving people who were the old coaches, the former coaches of Indian team or any local club as well, that our infrastructure is not good. Even in our Kolkata location, there is a stadium that is called Salt Lake Juba Bharat in our regional Juba Bharat Stadium. So around 5 to 10 years ago, so I used to watch like few football matches in that stadium. So the stadium was good, but few days ago I was watching exactly about the same like stadium, and the condition became really deplorable. It was so pathetic, and the grasses were not properly like planed, and they were not able to run properly because of like big grasses. So if you do not take care of your field, so how come you expect that your players will play well, right? They will get injury, they will not get the proper agility, and
Mm-hmm.
without the proper this infrastructure, making any player is very tough. If you look at the Western countries where football is one of the sources of making money, and they are making really huge amount of money, they are making even, there are few football players who have become even billionaires. Ronaldo, Messi, so these guys are billionaires, right?
Mm-hmm.
So government should take a very strict kind of like responsibility, and the proper implementation of that should be very precise.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, I think if we get the opportunity, so India doesn't have any kind of inadequacy of good talents in
Mm-hmm.
every field we have. We just need a little bit of more knowledge, more preparation, and India is not ready for that even now. And
When,
India is not at all focusing on football.
when you talk about cricket, cricket is something kind of business in India. Okay, like they've established this
Yeah,
sort of businesses. Okay, related to cricket, it could be games or like they're playing online games or uh, it's kind of sattebaji, like they gambling about crickets, like IPL matches and going on. So it is kind of not only become a game, but it is kind of source of income for many people. So
yeah,
I think it is the status quo they don't want to change. You know, and it could be very difficult to kind of gaining that amount of popularity because of football. Football never are going to generate that kind of income to those people, like people on the top, like politicians or like and when I talk about, it is all about the people. If people start to playing football, then definitely that natural interest will come, and because of massive amount of people are playing football, then this politician also going to take interest in it. Okay, but it is not happening so far right now, and it will take many, I don't know, not year, but at least it will take like 50, 60 years to kind of it depends on,
mm,
like you never know what will happen because our world is evolving. Okay, our interest is evolving, like there could be something happen and football will become very famous, never knows.
yes. We can take USA as an example, right? Because if
Mhm.
I talk about USA around 10 years ago, so there was no league, there was nothing about football. So in USA, they have another football that is, a rugby kind of a football, right? So they call it football. So now, when the USA government noticed that in Europe, football is one of the biggest sources of making money,
Mhm.
multiple investors are there. People also love watching football. People love playing football. So they even started their own league in USA as well. They even started inviting Messi, Ronaldo, and all these like top stars to come. Even David Beckham, who is one of the best midfielders. So he also went to USA as a coach.
Okay.
Okay, with Beckham, a lot of like new players, they also got a little bit of inspiration that if Beckham is basically as a coach we are getting, so we can also learn something from him. So even right now in USA, there are a lot of emerging players, and the USA players also playing in different leagues. In
Mhm.
France, in Germany, in Spain, in
Mhm.
England. So they're also improving day by day. And USA always, I mean, if USA actually gets into any kind of sport, so what kind of facilities and infrastructure they provide, they always want to produce the best players. Always, just like the Olympics. So we need this kind of things, and I do not think that the people who are on the top, so they are going to allow football to be very popular just like cricket, right? If there is a kind of a competition, between cricket and football, so people always choose like cricket because of popularity, because of money, because of advertisement, because of their personal interests, right?
Absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, like these things about the games. Okay, and everything has their own places in our life. Okay, but at this point,
Yes.
that kind of interest I do not have. Probably, if there is a final of football, then I will watch because of whenever there is a final of cricket or final of any sport. So people have that kind of interest. Let's see, let's watch. Okay, so maybe I will
Mm.
watch, but each and every game that I'm not going to watch. I'm not that much fond of watching any sports, not only football, but any sports I not found. Instead of I watch vlogs, and these days I'm watching videos about people are going to the rivers and they're finding different sort of stones, okay, colorful stones, okay, and these stones are very valuable, okay. So I was also thinking about that, out of nowhere, I also find this kind of stones, and I will get a huge worth out of it, money out of it, okay. So this kind of mindset
Yeah,
right
of
now I
course, of
have.
course you can get. Of course you can get, because no one knows. Our life can change or take a U-turn at any specific
Mm,
phase or any specific moment. So keep searching
yeah.
about the gold and about the precious stones, so that you can also become a millionaire.
I'm thinking about finding a meteorite. Meteorite means the space object will fall to the earth. Okay,
Oh, oh, oh.
meteoroid. Okay, because meteorite looks like a stone. Okay, but our stones are a little bit lightweighted compared to this meteoroid. Meteoroids having like huge amount of iron in it. Okay, so they are very heavy. Okay, and this meteorite I think more valuable than a gold. Very valuable, and it could be very difficult because even imagine like there are plenty of meteorite fallen down in my village. Nobody going to notice. They will think it is these are the stones only. Okay, because they look similar. They like they think okay these are they no these are like weird looking stones. Okay, they will not never know that these are a meteorite. People are crazy about it, especially NASA. Researchers are crazy about this meteorite because they do research on it, right? So yeah, but if you at least aware of it, so never know from where you will find a very 2 kg of stone or 3 kg of stone, and instantly you're going to be rich. Okay, so sometimes you have to use your luck also.